let's get right to it. Bellator 80 goes down this Friday night, November the 9th in Hollywood, Florida. We'll preview the 4 fights on the main card and also one of the preliminary bouts that should be very, very, very interesting to watch. Tried to get the latest odds on these fights. I couldn't find betting odds anywhere. I can't find a single line on these Bellator fights. Usually I can get you the betting odds a couple days out, but no odds for this anywhere, which sucks. Hopefully you'll be able to put a wager on this Bellator card by the time it rolls around, and my picks will help you out, but I don't know what the odds are for this card. It's unfortunate. You can find the UFC on Fuel TV odds, no problem. You can find odds for UFC 154, and that goes down in 10 days, but the Bellator, it's a little bit under the radar, so it's harder to find the odds. I'll give you a DVD if you can give me a call right now at 514-790-1690 and give me the odds for Bellator, but I don't think you'll be able to do it because I tried my best and I could not find any kind of line on those fights. But I will pick the winners for you, and then when the line comes out, you'll know who will win. As it'll be Josh Quayhagen, a 6-0 fighter, taking on Cosmo Alexandre, a 4-1 mixed martial artist. This is the lone prelim that we're going to preview here tonight. Of course, you can watch the prelims and the main card over on Spike.com. The main card airs on MTV2 over in the United States, but all over the world, you can watch the entire card on Spike.com in high definition. Very good stuff. The main card, the prelim card starting around 6, and the main card around 8. 8 o'clock is the broadcast time. Josh Quayhagen coming off a knockout victory in his last fight over a 5-4 fighter named Keith Minor. That was on August the 18th in Louisiana. While Cosmo Alexandre fought very recently, getting a second-round knockout win over 4-1 fighter, then 4-0, now 4-1, a guy named Mike Bannon. That was on October 19th at Bellator 77. So just a couple weeks ago, and now he gets the rematch that he's been looking for, as Cosmo Alexandre and Josh Quayhagen fought in their first professional bout. It was October 1st of 2011 at Bellator 52. Cosmo Alexandre, a former pro kickboxer, was making his MMA debut against Josh Quayhagen, who was also making his MMA debut. Quayhagen wound up picking up a unanimous decision win over Alexandre and has since gone 5-0 with a 6-0 record. Alexandre has won 4 straight and has a 4-1 record. So this is a big fight for Alexandre, and it's a big fight for Quayhagen. He's got to remain undefeated and beat Cosmo Alexandre, who looks like a monster right now. This is a guy that I've had my eye on, and this is mostly the reason why we're previewing this fight, because it's a very interesting rematch, and it's Cosmo Alexandre. This guy is legit. As good as Tyrone Spong looked for the World Series of Fighting the other night, Cosmo Alexandre has looked that good for Bellator. I've talked about him on the show before. This guy is for real. A nasty striker. With 3 of 4 wins via knockout with 1 decision. All of his pro MMA fights have been for the Bellator promotion. Of course, he lost to Quayhagen in his pro debut in 2011, but he's gone 3-0 this year alone in 2012. He got a unanimous decision win over then 6-0 Laurent T. Nelson on May the 4th for Bellator in what was maybe his most impressive victory. Alexandre went 40-21 as a pro kickboxer. He's just 30 years old, though. He's from Brazil, trains in Amsterdam, but has also been training in Florida with the Black Zillion camp. Of course, those guys have looked very, very sharp. Anthony Johnson's been training with them. He looked good at World Series of Fighting. Tyrone Spong as well. So Alexandre, I think, is training with the perfect camp. Meanwhile, Josh Quayhagen is 26 years old, 4 years younger than Alexandre. He's from Lake Charles, Louisiana, and has a 3-0 record in Bellator, 6-0 as a pro. Quayhagen versus Alexandre is one hell of a fight. But you know what they say? It's always more difficult to win the rematch if you won the first fight, because you don't know what to correct. Although it went to a decision, so maybe Quayhagen knows what he did wrong and knows what he's looking to correct, but Alexandre knows exactly what he needs to do to win this fight. He needs to do different things than he did last time, and I think he will figure that out, and I think he will correct his past mistakes. I think he'll avoid the takedown, he'll avoid getting pinned against the fence, and he'll keep it a stand-up war, a stand-up fight. And I'm going to take Cosmo Alexandre to pick up the victory over Josh Quayhagen, and even their series up at 1. I think Alexandre, losing the first fight, is a completely different fighter this time. He's much more seasoned in MMA. He's looked extremely sharp in his past couple fights. I think he wins this fight either by decision or perhaps by knockout, but I like Alexandre to beat Josh Quayhagen, and we move on to the main televised card. For Bellator 80, we have Brett Cooper, a 16-7 fighter, taking on 5-5 Darryl Cobb, this one at middleweight. Cooper coming off a decision victory over 11-4 Jared Hess in his last bout. That was at Bellator 59, though, way back in November of last year. So Cooper has not fought in a year, while Darryl Cobb is 5-5, but is coming off a loss. He did fight more recently, though. He fought on August 18th in Missouri, but he lost via submission in only the first round to a 2-0 fighter named Andrew Sanchez. So Cooper coming off a win, although he hasn't fought in a long time. Cobb coming off a loss. He's fought, in August, pretty recently. Cooper, 16 wins, 11 of those via knockout with 3 decisions and 2 submissions. He has lost 7 times in his career, though, 4 via decision, twice via knockout, and 1 via submission. Cooper does have wins over UFC fighters Sergio Moraes, Rory Markham, and Joe Dirksen, who both used to fight in the UFC, so he's beat some legit guys. And he's been fighting since 2005. He's just 25 years old. Here's a guy that's been fighting since he was 18 years old. He's from Long Beach, California, and is riding a 3-fight win streak and has a 3-2 record in Bellator. Meanwhile, Darryl Cobb is 0-1 in Bellator and is on a 4-fight losing streak. He's been fighting since 2006. He's 32 years old, 7 years older, from East St. Louis, Illinois. He has 3 of his 5 wins via decision with 2 knockout wins, but he's lost 5 times for a 5-5 record with 4 submission losses and 1 knockout. I'm going to say he gets knocked out again or submitted. Either way, he's getting finished, as I think Darryl Cobb is being brought in here to lose. He's lost 4 in a row. Cooper hasn't fought since November of last year, but he has a 3-fight winning streak coming into this fight. He's younger. He's got a more impressive record. He's got more wins, more experience. I'm taking Brett Cooper to beat Darryl Cobb and to finish him on Friday night in Hollywood, Florida.